Welcome to the Vol Bros, presented by the Ooltewah Club. My name is Evan. This is my brother Ruston, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And as always, we're very proud to represent the University of Tennessee and the Believe Entertainment Network. We appreciate the folks that believe for believing in us. So we invite you to check out all the different shows for all the different schools and sports teams, professional teams on the Believe Entertainment Network. This is just an absolutely huge, busy week on Rocky Top. We got men's basketball, we got women's basketball. Tomorrow we got baseball and softball. Baseball has their season opener. Softball is starting a 5-game stretch of games down in Florida that are just going to be incredible. It's going to be a busy couple days here. Ruston, let's start with what we just watched. And for those of you who are tuning in, we appreciate you all very much. Well, let's start with the Lady Vols, who just finished playing. Kelly Harper's return to Thompson Bowling Arena. It's always good to see her. Unfortunately, things didn't go well for her team. I'll give my summation, and then you can give yours. Missouri is not good. There you go. That's my summation. I think that pretty much covers it. Ruston, what do you think about tonight's game?
Yes, Missouri isn't very good when they're at full strength, and when you take 3 of their key players out of the game, they're just really bad. It's interesting. If I had told you at the end of or before we talked about the game, if I had told you that Z Spearman would play 17 minutes, have 1 point, 1 rebound, and 3 turnovers, how would you have thought that game went?
Horribly.
Definitely not a
foul trouble.
Yeah, definitely not a 45-point win. I was very pleasantly surprised to see a few things. Number one, the 2 veterans that I've been saying need to step up and lead, Alyssa Latham and Janiah Barker, did that. They came out, they asserted themselves. They combined for 37 points and 13 rebounds. Both played very, very well. And they were leading, and they were setting the tone defensively. The on-ball defense was way better tonight. The defensive intensity was way better. And out of nowhere, the old Kanaya Boyd showed up. Like, where did that come from? First time all year she's played hard. So it was good to see that. And, hopefully, if I had told you, Mia Paldo is not going to play at all, and Z Spearman's going to have 1 point, 1 rebound, and 3 turnovers, there aren't many universes where your next thought would be, we won by 40 plus.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was good to see them really step up the defensive intensity. It was an obscene number. Let me go back to it real quick. Points off turnovers. Yeah, they had 27 points off turnovers. That's a big number. And, that speaks volumes to the defensive intensity they played with. So it's good to see. It's good to see a strong response. They had 15 steals. That's working.
Absolutely. Let's see what some of the folks in the comments had to say. David, welcome. Glad you're with us. Say good evening, Evan and Ruston. Whatever Kim did or said to the players worked because they showed emotion and hustled all night. Mia Paldo as well. That's exactly right. Jonathan, welcome, buddy. He said, hello, Evan and Ruston chat family. I hope everyone has had a great week so far. Don't forget to tell your mom and them about the Vol Bros. Hey, I totally agree with that. He said, I was worried when I read that Mia Paldo was out. I wasn't sure we would win even though we should. Mia seems to be the main catalyst for this team. I would agree with that. David said, Denia Prawl played her best game as a Lady Vol. I agree with that as well. And Alyssa Latham is finally stepping up as their leader. Richard, welcome, buddy. He said, greetings from Livermore Laboratory in Livermore, California. That's what I'm talking about. Where in the world is Richard Grindstaff? Now we know. Livermore, California. That's always a fun part of our show, in my opinion. Just finding out where Richard is. Nolan, welcome, buddy. He said, good evening, Vol Bros. Glad to see 2 good bounce back wins for the men's and women's team. Yeah, absolutely. David said, Richard is the Globe Vols fan of this show. For Matt, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, good evening, bros. Great game. Oh, David said, globe-trotting Vols fan. Absolutely. James, welcome. Good to have you. He said, good evening, fellas. I like the pissed off Kim Caldwell. Apparently, whatever she did worked. That's. I'm glad to see him respond the way they did, and not rebelling. I'm glad to see him respond the way they did. Richard, we're glad you're with us. Matt, he said Missouri without 3-pointers is bad. Yep, faux show. David said, nah, Robertson was D'ing up the Missouri girls. John said, I'm disappointed Ruston doesn't have the artistic hotel window shade in the frame.
This is actually probably the most dull hotel room I've ever stayed in. The walls are white, the trim is white, and the window shade is white. Like there's literally nothing in here that isn't a very stark white.
Looks like you may have a fancy accent wall behind you that's gray.
That's true. There is one gray wall, which is, now that you say it, really weird because literally nothing else in here is gray but that one wall.
It really jazzed it up a little bit with that gray wall.
Yeah, went all out. Let the painters have a little artistic liberty.
Yeah. Matt said, I'm just glad these girls didn't give up for good. Absolutely. He said they turned it around for sure. Absolutely.
Well, I'll go back to what I said the other night. Like, Rick Barnes calls out players all the time. You go around the country, coaches call out players all the time. And you can do that when you have a relationship with them where you've already said it to them. So I was not concerned at all about people responding. I was concerned that we had one player who was going to create major problems if she continues. And, she played well tonight. I'll give Talasia credit. She played an entire game without a turnover, which
that's incredible.
She should probably go buy a lottery ticket. But kudos to her. She made it through an entire game, took care of the ball. She wasn't seeing a huge amount of really impressive defensive pressure, but it was still good to see.
Sanders, welcome. Glad you're with us. She said, oh, wait, I clicked on the wrong one. Sanders said, I want them to play like this on Sunday for sure. They got Texas on Sunday. James said, Rustin's lying. He's in prison. The gray
they don't have artistic liberty for an accent wall in jail.
Yeah. David said Rustin's staying at Motel 6.
It felt like it. It's a La Quinta, and we booked it online, and the online reviews were not true. So,
Rebel Jew, welcome, buddy. We're glad you're with us. He said good evening, all. Matt liked the accent wall. He thought that was good. Jonathan said, I just hope this wasn't a one-off game with Missouri being so bad. I hope they continue to respond positively the rest of the season. Amen, brother. Absolutely.
If they play hard, I'll go back to what I said the other night. Their remaining 7 games, they, in my opinion, were going 2-5. Tonight was game 1 of those 7. That was one of the 2 I thought they would win. I'm still not sure, even if they play really, really hard, that they can do better than 2-5. They might be able to sneak one away from Ole Miss and go 3-4, but it's going to be tough.
Let's see. Tim, we're glad you're with us, buddy. Welcome. Rhonda, same to you. Welcome. She said, good evening, Vol Bros. In chat, go Vols, baby. Absolutely. Absolutely. David said, I'd love to see Maya Paulo get some real minutes. I see that she's definitely good, but she needs more time to develop, unlike Mia, who's a true phenom. Yeah, that's fair. Well, let's talk about the men's game. So they had a win at Mississippi State. My favorite comments about first of all, Nate Ament, another great game. But my favorite comments about the men's game, they're up by like 22 points at one point, and they allowed Mississippi State to get back within 7. And when Mississippi State's going on that run, some of the comments on Twitter were hilarious. People are like, okay, I'm convinced they really are betting on these games. What do you think about the men's game?
I don't understand. Let me say it in a different way. Our 4 post players combined for 26 points and 27 rebounds. The large majority of those points came in the first half. I do not understand why our players cannot figure out that they are at their absolute best when they play inside out. Every game, we attack the basket, we pound it inside, we wear people down. With about 6 minutes left in the first half, we start building a lead. We usually come out to start the second half. We continue to do it, expand on the lead. And then we get up by 15 to 20 points and we completely abandon what's worked up to this point. And it makes absolutely no sense. And I know, like, I can see Rick Barnes, he's screaming at them to keep attacking, and they just start settling for shots. And it's bizarre. Like, I don't know what it's going to take to get them to understand if they will just play inside out for 40 minutes like they did against Houston. There aren't many teams in this country that can beat them, and they could make a really deep run in March if they'll just play inside out the whole game.
Absolutely. It was nice to see him use like the high post. They utilized the high post really well.
Yeah.
Especially that one play where Dwayne Brown flashed to the high post. They threw it to him, and they didn't respect Brown enough to step out on him, dared him to shoot it, and he did, and he made it. I mean, that was great.
Yeah.
That was in the first half, like you said. You're right. I mean, they play really well when they're working from the inside out. So hopefully they continue to do that. Hopefully they do not continue to squander double-digit leads. That is becoming really old, really quick, really old. Richard, welcome. Hey, but Richard, thank you so much for that super chat, man. You were the man. Thank you so much. That's awesome. He said, I think it's a done deal. Joey is back, and I could take you guys to places your wives would not let you back in the house. Okay. Well, we appreciate the super chat. I'll tell you. Let's see. Let's see here. David said Richard's spending the big dollars. That's right. He sure was. $20 super chat. I got totally sidetracked. What were we just talking about? Oh, Joey. He mentioned Joey. So just so we're all clear on that deal, Joey was supposed to find out something on February the 10th. Then I'm going to be totally honest. I don't know how I feel about all this. Tennessee tried to follow the Alabama court method and get a local judge to file an injunction against the NCAA. That got him a little bit more time tonight, which is really weird because this morning Trinidad Chambliss was denied another year, or late yesterday. They appealed it, and then tonight he was awarded it. So Trinidad Chambliss was given one more year. And now everybody's saying, oh, well, that means Joey's going to get another year as well. I would like to remind everyone, Joey has already been given one more year. They're asking for another year. I really have mixed emotions about it, if I'm being honest, and all Nation can dislike me for this. As a Tennessee fan, I hope he gets it, because I would love to see him at quarterback next year for Tennessee. As a college football fan, I hope he doesn't get it. Because at what point are we going to say, okay, enough's enough? Like, you've played in college for a long time. Enough's enough. It's a really difficult situation. And if I feel that way as a Tennessee fan, then I know that other people have got to be feeling that way outside of All Nation. But as a Tennessee fan, I would love to see him back there. So before we move on to baseball, what's your take on Joey?
It's probably going to be a very unpopular opinion. I don't want Joey back. I want George McIntyre. If you look back through Josh Heupel's time in Knoxville, starts off with Hendon Hooker. Hendon was a retread. He's a guy who didn't make it at another school, and they reinvented him. Then he gets Joe Milton. Joe Milton was a retread, didn't make it at Michigan, and they reinvented him. Then we go to Nico. Nico falls apart, doesn't live up to the hype. Then we go to Joey Aguilar, another retread. I'd like to see what a quarterback looks like who's been in the system, came in with a lot of accolades, is extremely intelligent, has every throw, and has weapons around him. And I don't want to see Joey back. I'll be candid. I'm not convinced Joey's a quarterback that can win you a championship of any kind. I think he's a game manager. I think he's serviceable. I think he put up good numbers because of the system he was in. But let's be honest, Joey doesn't have every throw. There's certain throws Joey can't make, and George does. So I personally want to see George McIntyre.
James said, when you get the Ruston sigh and then I don't understand, you know it's going to be a good Ruston rant. Rhonda said, I can't believe that watching the guys play, I constantly have white knuckles. Yeah, for sure. I mean, no lead is safe. No lead is safe with them. David said the men played as a team scoring. 9 players scored 4 or more points. Josh Hubbard was Mississippi State's offense, nearly had half their points. Yeah, Josh Hubbard's ridiculous. He's amazing. He might be the best offensive player in the SEC.
I don't know why he stayed at Mississippi State. I mean, that dude's completely by himself.
I legitimately was thinking the exact same thing I was like, why did he not transfer? Let's see. Rhonda said, are they getting tired or just getting complacent when they have the lead?
I think they're getting complacent.
I would agree. They're getting lackadaisical with the ball. Because, I mean, that's what got Mississippi State back. It was turnovers. Like they were getting steals and run out layups and that kind of stuff. Mississippi Vol, welcome, buddy. He said, hey, guys, sorry for being late. Had something going on there. Good seeing all of you. Absolutely, man. You too. Let's see. David said, will the NCAA appeal Trinidad's case with a judge recusal?
No. They already put out a statement tonight basically saying that they disagree with the decision and they're going to continue to fight future cases. But they didn't say anything about his case.
Hey, Deborah, we appreciate this. That's what I'm talking about. She said, time for the dynamic duo of Evan and Ruston. Thank you. I appreciate that. We even matched tonight. We didn't mean to, but we're both wearing black polos. Thank you so much, Deborah. I appreciate that.
I had to do something to juxtapose the gray accent wall.
Yeah. Just splash of color here with the black.
Yeah.
Mississippi Vol said, I'm the exact same on the subject, Evan. Those are my same thoughts. He felt the same way about the situation with Joey. Let's see. Matt said, did anyone watch the 35-minute interview with Joey at his church? Great stuff. I have not seen that. If someone could email that to me, I'd really appreciate it. I'd like to see it. Let's see. Sam said they make money. By definition, they are professional. This whole college NIL was screwed from the beginning. I mean, I think, yeah, everybody would agree they're professionals now.
Mm-hmm.
Richard said, I don't think Joey should get another year. I love the game more than Joey, but I'm thankful we had him last year. That's a fair assessment, buddy. That's a fair assessment. David said they need to do a 5 for 5, and it is in writing. Ironclad rules and no court will challenge.
Correct.
Let's see. Matt said I'm back and forth on this Aguilar and McIntyre thing. Rhonda said, is it possible that even if Joey is back, that McIntyre might play, that might beat him out?
No.
And, that's one thing that on our last show, Bobby asked, and I forgot to get back to it, was he said, if Joey is given another year, is there a chance McIntyre gets frustrated and leaves?
I don't think George would do that because he would still have 2 years of playing ability, before he has to look at a draft eligibility issue. But
he wouldn't be able to transfer before this season anyway because that window is out now.
Yeah, so I don't see George doing that. I like Joey. I think he was serviceable. I think he did a good job. I just don't think you can win a championship with him.
Let's see. Elijah, welcome, buddy. He said, would love to see how badly we can beat a team like Mississippi State if we played a full 40 minutes to our full potential. Yeah, no doubt. David said, honestly, agree, Ruston. I'm so fatigued with these 6, 7, 8 year players with just a bachelor's degree. They don't even get a master's degree. Yep, that's right.
I thought it was interesting that Trinidad Chambliss' attorney today read Carson Beck's quote that he doesn't have class anymore. He doesn't go to class. There is no class.
No. Deborah asked, is Ruston in another hotel room? Yes, a very ornately adorned hotel room. All white walls with one gray accent wall.
And nothing else. No pictures on the walls. Everything is white, weirdly white.
Rhonda said Chris Lowe has said that it's going to take the school's president and chancellor to make a change about this. Tony, welcome, buddy. He said, if Heupel thought GMAC was ready, why was he trying to get a high and transfer quarterback? I love GMAC, but I'll take Joey back. Yeah, I get that. That's fair.
I don't think it's a matter of him thinking George was ready. I think it's a matter of, in today's era where everything is win now, he had to test the waters and see, if Josh Hoover had said, if Josh Hoover had said, I want to be a Vol, okay, you got to go pull the trigger on that one. But notice he didn't just sign anybody. When he couldn't get his top 3 options, he just signed a backup.
Yeah. For sure. Well, so as we mentioned, softball starts a incredible weekend. Deborah asks, what do you guys think of the new quarterback recruit, Derek Barker, for 27?
Derek Baker. He's good. Right. He's really good. He's down at Milton. I actually coached against him when he was in middle school, of all things. Kid's an athlete, big arm. He's just going to get better and better. He's got all the tools. He's a great example of recruiting services have no clue. Like that kid, I think he's ranked like the number 32 quarterback in his class. I've seen that kid live. There are not 31 high school quarterbacks in America better than that kid. If the recruiting services actually pay attention and they evaluate him fairly, his draft or his status will rise significantly. He's the real deal.
Well, he's committed to Tennessee, so we know that's not going to happen.
And he's also playing against the best high school talent in Georgia. So he's tearing it up against the best of the best.
Absolutely. So as we mentioned, softball starts a really, really big weekend tomorrow at noon against Nebraska. Well, the baseballs are starting tomorrow as well in the new, freshly renovated Lindsey Nelson Stadium, which the photos of it look incredible. I mean, it's beautiful. So we're going to do a little preview. Deborah said, I like that Baker's 235 pounds. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
David said Tegan Kuhn starts tomorrow. He does. We're going to do a little preview of baseball here. Ruston put together a little preview for us. So take it away, Ruston.
So I think the first thing I want to say is the preseason top 25 got released, and college baseball, there's like 6 different polls. The one thing they all had in common was they all showcased why journalists should not get a vote in polls. Those polls were so ridiculous. The stuff they put, it's just absurd. Like, baseball people were looking at it going, this is stupid. Right now, let me tell you who the teams are in this country that people need to be watching out for. Tennessee is definitely one of the top 8 teams in America, maybe top 5. LSU is up there. Texas is up there. Coastal Carolina may have the top returning starting pitching in the country. They're going to be very good. TCU is going to be a handful. They're going to score a ton of runs. Florida State is going to be very, very good. And I'm going to go ahead and call a dark horse that I don't think anybody sees coming. Brian O'Connor is now the head coach at Mississippi State. Kevin O'Connor. He is an excellent coach, came from Virginia, brought a bunch of talent with him from Virginia to Mississippi State. And let's not forget that, in college baseball circles, Mississippi State basically has a blank check. So when you take a coach who has had huge success everywhere he's been, he brings a ton of his talent with him from his existing school to put with a roster that was already pretty talented, and then give him a blank check. Mississippi State is going to surprise some people. They're going to come back on the map real fast. So be watching for them. So Texas A&M is the most overrated team in America. The fact that a couple of those polls had them number 1 is just absurd. That is not the number 1 team in America, and everybody will see that pretty quickly. UCLA is good. They're not great, and they will easily win through the Big Ten because there's nobody in the Big Ten this year that's any good, including Oregon. Oregon's way down. So UCLA is going to look better than they really are. And then when they get to the postseason, they're going to get knocked out early because they won't be battle tested. So let's talk about Tennessee. Josh Elander has, if there was one word I could use to describe this team, it's versatile. Josh Elander has done a fantastic job creating a roster that can literally do any number of things to win. Starting pitching, potentially, we'll see, in 2 months if this pans out. Potentially, Tennessee might have the top starting rotation in the country. It may be between them and Coastal Carolina. Tegan Kuhn's had an enormous offseason. He tore it up in the Cape Cod League. People have raved about him, how his progression has gone. He will be the Friday starter, and everyone has raved about how he has thrown both in the fall and in the preseason. Had a huge summer at the Cape. He's poised for a massive year. Landon Mack is the Saturday starter, transfer from Rutgers. the highest praise I think I've heard for him so far was a couple of days ago. Josh Elander compared him to Chase Dolander. That's significant praise. And then the Sunday starter might be the best of the three. Evan Blanco comes over, left-hander, throws low 90s with crazy stuff. He's got about a 4-pitch mix, and he's not afraid to throw any of it at any time in the count. So that's the starting pitching. Let's talk about the bullpen, because the bullpen,
Hang
I
on
think, is
just a second.
probably – yeah.
Rhonda asked a question. She said, is everybody healthy going into this season?
No, and I'll hit on all those in just a second. So let's talk about the bullpen. So to answer Rhonda's question, the first guy in the bullpen to talk about is Brandon Arvidsson. He's probably not going to miss much time. He's had some soreness, and so they're gonna start him slowly. But Arvidsson is now throwing upper 90s and touches 100 from the left side, which is just freakish. And he has a bit of a rubber arm. He can throw unbelievable amounts of innings on short notice. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they use him. They've hinted that he's going to kind of be their Swiss Army knife out of the bullpen. Sometimes he may throw some long relief. Sometimes he may come in for one hitter. Sometimes he may close. He's going to just kind of be there, for lack of a better term, Kirby Cannell, just come in random weird places and get outs. Big time arm, top 3 round draft pick arm. Brady Frederick is the transfer from ETSU, submarine pitcher. Going to throw a lot of innings out of the bullpen. They're probably going to use him as a setup guy. I would hate to be the team that has to face Brandon Arvidsson in the 7th inning, throwing left-handed 98 to 100, and the ball runs in on left-handed hitters like crazy and runs away from right-handed hitters like crazy. And then all of a sudden in the 8th inning, you face Brady Frederick, who literally is a true submariner. His hands will scrape the ground when he's pitching, and that ball runs all over the place. And
Tennessee
then
didn't have an easy time with him last year, that's for sure.
No one did. He was first team All SoCon because of it. And then the 9th inning, you face Bo Rudy, who transferred in, throwing 100, and what they are calling an alien fastball. For those of you who don't know what an alien fastball is, it's a fastball that runs a unearthly amount. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. In the analytics world, they can measure ball movement, height, and if you get more than a certain amount of inches of height, it's considered not natural, and they call it an alien pitch. His fastball moves more than almost every human being in the earth. I'm not exaggerating. Like that's how they've described it. He gets an absurd amount of rise on his fastball, which should not happen. Physics says that's not possible. So you go from Brandon Arvidsson, high 90s left-handed, to Brady Frederick, ball coming off the ground basically, to Bo Rudy, 100 miles per hour, and it rises as it comes in. That's not hittable. Yeah. And that's intentional. They went out and said last year's bullpen was 5 versions of the exact same guy. They were all hard-throwing right-handers. They all looked exactly the same. They all threw the same. There was no difference. And they said, this year we're going to go out and we're going to build a bullpen that is intentionally different, where we can show any kind of arm slot. We can show all kinds of velocities. And they've done that because we haven't even hit on the other 3 guys. Just in the 3 guys we've talked about, you've got a lefty throwing upper 90s, a right-handed submariner, a right-handed guy throwing 100 miles per hour with a fastball that actually rises. Then you've got Blaine Brown, who is going to be a 2-way guy. He's going to play some left field. He's going to DH, and he's going to be a relief pitcher throwing mid-90s left-handed. but he throws it from a 3/4 slot, so he doesn't look the same as Brandon Arvidsson. Then you've got Braden Krenzel, who is now throwing mid-90s, but has that crazy sink on his fastball, so he doesn't look like any of the right-handers. And then you've got Mark Hindy, who's a transfer from Duke, who's left-handed, but he's a junk baller. So they can literally show 6 different guys throwing 6 different angles and 6 different types of velocity. That is insanely difficult on opposing teams. So really,
and much different from last year.
Oh, totally different. So all our starting 3 have to do is get to about the 4th or 5th inning and then turn it over to those guys, and they can literally show a different dude every inning doing something completely different. Cam Appenzeller will probably, the left-handed freshman, future star, will probably be the midweek starter. That's what it's looking like right now. And then the interesting one is there's 3 freshmen, and all 3 freshmen, to be candid, if they were anywhere else in the conference, they would probably be getting looks to be a starter. There's 3 freshmen that are really impressive. There's a right-hander, Ethan Biata. He was a top 100 high school player last year. Big right-hander, throws upper 90s, huge velo guy from Texas. I mean, just your traditional Texas power pitcher. Again, he was in the high school top 100 last year. Future first or second rounder. Taylor Tracy is a left-hander. He's going to be a two-way guy. He's going to pitch and play outfield. Throws low 90s, good junk. He's got a future. Sawyer Deering is a guy that they found. He was a diamond in the rough. He was the Wisconsin High School Player of the Year, but because he was in Wisconsin, nobody paid any attention to him. He's a right-hander that they have raved about, and they think is going to have a huge future. So they've got these 6 guys in the bullpen who are, going to be stars, but then they got these other 3 freshmen that somehow they got to figure out a way to fit them in. So it's going to be fascinating to watch how they figure out how to use all these guys. Josh Reynolds is a really good pitching coach. He was the pitching coach at Cincinnati before he came to Tennessee. Worked under Frank for a year or 2. He knows what he's doing. The one thing I like about Josh Reynolds, he didn't have a whole roster of guys throwing mid to upper 90s at Cincinnati. He had to call pitches and actually pitch. He couldn't just, when it was 3-2, go, and I'm serious. When it was 3-2, he couldn't just go, oh, we're just going to go fastball, blow it by him. Like, he had to actually think it over and go, what makes the most sense here? Because we can't blow it by this guy. And that's one of the things the pitchers have talked about is Josh Reynolds has really made them process their stuff. And they're not just going to be a go out there and throw it by everybody team. They're going to establish the fastball, but then they're going to show a lot of other pitches as well. And I think that's a good thing. I think there were times Frank became too predictable, and everybody just knew he's just going to try to blow fastball by you. He's not trying to fool anybody. It's just, here comes the fastball. The other major change you're going to see, and we now know that this was a bone of contention between Josh Elander and Frank. The week after Frank left to go to San Francisco, the pitchers spent the entire week working on pickoff moves. The whole week.
Tim just mentioned something about that as well.
Frank literally walked out the door, and they immediately started working on pick moves and holding runners. Josh Elander's a former catcher. It had to just infuriate him that we never ever held runners. Like, he had to be sitting in the dugout just fuming, going, why do we work on anything as catchers? We never have the opportunity to throw anybody out. We don't even need to work on it. Like, there's no chance. So that's a huge change people are going to see. Josh Reynolds, again, pitching coach at Cincinnati. Not a whole lot of catchers at Cincinnati with big pop time. So you got to have pitchers that can hold runners. Josh Elander, former catcher, coaches the catchers. they're going to be much better at holding runners because Josh Elander's going to have catchers who are going to be throwing people out. So pitching staff is going to be. Mm-hmm.
Jonathan asked, "Are we going to get Xander on the podcast?" I hope so. We've talked to him. He said he'd join. We just hadn't been able to set up a time yet.
Yeah, and I actually I talked to Evan Russell a couple of weeks ago as well. We'll get him back on. He's ready to talk anytime when it comes to baseball. So pitching staff's going to be very good. That's a no-brainer. This potentially, if everybody stays healthy and throws to their potential, we may have one of the best pitching staffs in the entire country. So now let's talk about defense and hitting. And I'll tell you, I would not want to be Josh Elander. They talked about 2 weeks ago, he walked into a team meeting with 3 lineup cards from a previous season. One was the opening day card, one was a midseason card, and the last one was the last game of the season. And he showed them how much the lineup changed throughout the course of the year and how many guys who weren't on the opening day lineup were on the final day lineup, and how people moved up and down the batting order as the season went on, or lost their job or won a job. And it was an intentional way of showing these guys, look, I know there's more of you who deserve to play than the 9 slots we have to work with. So be patient. We're going to give you shots. When you do, make the most of them. And then let's see who's on that final lineup card. So back to the injuries. Really right now we have 2 catchers, Stone Lawless and Garrett Wright. Garrett Wright is injured. He broke a bone in his hand in preseason practice. He'll probably miss the first 1 or 2 weeks. It was several weeks ago. He'll probably miss the first week or 2 of practice. And should be back by the time they go to Texas. In the meantime, Stone Lawless will be the starting catcher, and I think we may see a little Trent Grindlinger because Levi Clark's going to play first base. In a pinch, Levi can catch as well, but they really like him at first. I think he's going to be the everyday first baseman.
People watching practice are saying Stone Lawless is killing the ball right now.
Yeah. Well, so is Trent Grindlinger. He hit 2 home runs in 2 days in their scrimmages. One off Evan Blanco, which was impressive. So Grindlinger is a true freshman. He was the top high school catcher in America last year, according to several recruiting services. Again, take those with a grain of salt. But I think probably until Garrett Wright gets back, Trent probably is that secondary catcher who catches 1 out of every 3 games just to give Stone a break. Second base is going to, like I said, Levi Clark's going to be the everyday first baseman. Second base is going to be interesting because shortstop is going to be interesting.
It is.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but if everyone will remember last May when they were leaving school, I said, guys, Ariel Antigua did not forget how to hit. He's always been able to hit. He just had a bad year. Let's see if he goes to the Cape, turns things around, and I would not be surprised if he's right in the mix next year. Who was the offensive MVP of the Cape Cod League? That would be one Ariel Antigua, who tore it up at the Cape, came back in the fall, continued to tear it up, and Josh Elander revealed they do a preseason ranking, basically, where they tell their players, rank our team. Who are the best players there? Who are the best hitters? Who's the hardest out? And Ariel Antigua was ranked the toughest out on the team by the players. So, Manny Marin and Ariel Antigua, I think, will be starting up the middle in some capacity. Chris Newstrom's going to be in that hunt, but he's a little banged up right now. So I would not be surprised if we see a situation where every game it's all 3 of them rotating until 2 people win a job. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Henry Ford's going to be the everyday third baseman. Left field's going to be interesting. Left field's probably going to be a platoon between Blake Grimmer and Blaine Brown, and whichever one isn't in left will probably be the DH. It lends. It's probably a little easier from a. It's probably a little easier. No, Henry Ford's not in the outfield. He's playing third base. It's probably a little easier from a lineup card perspective for Blaine Brown to be DH because you can list him as pitcher DH. And so every time he enters the game to pitch, he can remain in as the DH. So
Deborah cracked me up. She said the Vol Bros are the toughest out on YouTube. There you go.
So Blake Grimmer most likely will get the majority of the starts on left field if Blaine Brown is pitching well, because they'll want to keep that DH tag next to his name so it's easy to enter him on the mound. If Blaine's not pitching well and he's tearing the cover off the ball, then Blake may be the DH and Blaine may be the everyday left fielder. Jay Abernathy's going to be in center field pretty much every inning. Reese Chapman's going to be in right field pretty much every inning. Those jobs are pretty locked up. Somebody mentioned something about Henry Ford hitting leadoff. I think you're actually going to see Blake Grimmer. They really like – Josh Elander has a little different perspective on the leadoff spot. He wants production. He wants guys that find a way to get on. And they have raved about how difficult it is to get Blake Grimmer out. And he's got that early power pop that they like in that leadoff spot too. So I would almost bet we'll see Blake Grimmer in that leadoff spot, maybe Blaine Brown. But I think it'll be one of those two guys. Now here's where it gets interesting. There are two guys that I didn't name just now who are on the bench and probably deserve to be starting somewhere. Tyler Myatt was the JUCO Player of the Year at Walters State, won the JUCO Triple Crown. He has struggled to find a position, but here's the deal. In college baseball, if you can hit, you can hit, and you're going to find a way in the lineup. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how he fits in. Right now, they're probably going to use him as a pinch hitter off the bench. But again, when you win the Triple Crown in JUCO, it's going to be hard to keep that bat out of the lineup. That dude can swing it.
For sure.
Hunter High. Hunter High would probably start for half the schools in the SEC. Right now, they're probably going to use him as a left-handed pinch hitter. But I mean, he's got big pop, and he's a Tennessee kid. Like he's dying to be on that field. So he's going to have to fit in somewhere. Finley Bates, he was a middle infielder who played some last year as a freshman. He's behind Manny Marin, Chris Newstrom, and Ariel Antigua. So it's going to be hard for him to fight his way onto the field, but that dude can give you some good innings. And then true freshman outfielder who they have raved about, Nate Eisfelder. Again, he's stuck behind a bunch of dudes. It's going to be hard for him to get time, but he's going to be a kid that, in blowouts, he's going to get in the last 3 or 4 innings, and he's going to tear the cover off the ball. And everybody's going to be going, who's this kid? Why isn't he in the lineup? But he's just behind a bunch of veterans that all can hit. So what that says is we've got an incredibly deep bullpen. We've got a really good first 3 arms in the rotation. We've got a ton of options defensively and offensively. They legitimately, when Garrett Wright gets healthy, they could legitimately play. Oh, and there's another true freshman, Ethan Moore. They've struggled to figure out how to fit him in. He's been just pounding the ball in practice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. They've legitimately got 17 guys that could earn a spot in the starting lineup. So it's great to have options, and it helps when people get injured. But early on, it's going to be a dogfight for spots in that lineup. There's going to be people pressing to win jobs, and that's from a fan and coach's perspective, that's a great problem to have. From a player perspective, it can be a little frustrating.
And it all starts tomorrow against Nicholls State in the newly renovated Lindsey Nelson Stadium, with that apparently will have Tennessee made and branded ice cream. Vanilla and Big Orange are going to be the two flavors of ice cream that are going to be available.
Well, there is an ice cream parlor at the ag school, so it only makes sense that they should be making their own.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Ruston, for taking the time to put that together and do that research and give us that preview. I appreciate that. Everybody enjoyed hearing it in the comments as well. Well, we are now at that time. People have already been asking in the comments, is tonight the 80s song one? It sure is. Tonight is the first night that our mom texted us her list as well. Matt said, give me some Big Orange ice cream, baby. Absolutely. Waniac said, go Big Orange. Hey, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. Tim said, first 800 people into the stadium get a replica of the. That's exactly right. They tweeted that out yesterday showing it's like a little miniature replica of the renovated stadium. It's really cool looking. Honestly, the view from the field is amazing. I mean, there's no doubt. Like standing on the field looking at the new, third level, I guess you could say, behind the backstop of home plate. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's beautiful. But I'm going to tell you what, my favorite view of the new renovations is from the street outside the stadium. It used to just be that gray, almost cinder block entrance. And now they've got it looking like essentially mini Neyland Stadium out there. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. So if you're there tomorrow, I hope you're one of the first 800. That'd be awesome. Deborah said in the preview of the stadium today, they said ice cream and pizza was delayed for a couple weeks. Oh man, doggone it. We're going to have to wait a little bit then. Waniac said the porch is great. It sure is. Mississippi Vol said, got mine ready to go. 4 of the ones I picked are from 1982. Got one from 85. There you go. Ruston, do you want to go first or you want me to?
Yeah, I can.
All right. Now remember, these are top 5 songs that encapsulate the 80s. We're not saying these are the best songs of the 80s. We're not saying it. My list would be totally different if that's what we were doing. It's top 5 songs that best encapsulate and represent the 80s. Matt said he had tickets Saturday, but he had to give them away going to a bass tournament. Hey, there you go. Hope you catch a whole bunch, dude. Tennessee or Mississippi Vol said it reminds me a little of Ayers Hall with the checkerboard brick. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. That was a nice touch that they did. All right. So, Ruston, top 5 songs that best represent the 80s, and you all give us your top 5 in the comments as well.
Number 5, Eye of the Tiger by Survivor.
That's a good one. That's a strong start.
Number 4, Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
There you go.
Number 3, Beat It by Michael Jackson.
That's a good one too.
Number 2, Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi.
Yep.
And number 1 is Evan's life song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Oh my gosh. Nice. Very nice. Matt,
I've been waiting a week for that one.
So here's the thing. That's a strong list. I only have 2 of yours on mine. But yours was a really strong list. Waniac said, great times and tunes. There you go. Mississippi Vol said, Waiting for a Girl Like You by Foreigner. That's a good one. Open Arms by Journey. That's a great one. The Girl Is Mine by Michael Jackson. That's a great one. That's a good one. Let's see. Waniac agreed with your Don't Stop Believing one. He said that's number one for him.
It probably was number one for me, but I needed to have Cyndi Lauper be number one.
I got you. You had to throw that in there. Should I give my mom's, or I guess it's our mom. Should I give our mom's top 5 before I do mine?
Sure.
She even had like honorable mentions on here.
Honorable mentions are not allowed. There's only 5 in top 5.
She's been watching our show too long. She knows I do honorable mentions for everything.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. So she had Danger Zone and Like a Virgin by Madonna as her honorable mentions. Number 5 was 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. There you go. Number 4, Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Now you had that one on yours too, right?
Yeah.
All right. Number 3, she had Living on a Prayer. There you go. You had that one too. Number 2, Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper. And number 1 was a tie between Thriller and Beat It by Michael Jackson. All right, so here's my top 5. Now, I put a lot of thought into this. Some of you all will not agree with some of these. I understand, but I'm going to explain why it's on here. Remember, we're doing top 5 songs that best encapsulate or represent the 80s. So number 5, You're the Inspiration by Chicago. You cannot have an 80s list without a power ballad. And that was the power ballad love song of all power ballad love songs right there. You're the Inspiration by Chicago. Even into the 90s, tell me a middle school dance where You're the Inspiration was not played because it was so iconic for so long. So You're the Inspiration, number 5. Number 4, this is where no one will agree with this, and I understand, but I'm going to explain after I say it. Number 4, Let's Get Physical. The reason that's on there is because even to this day, if somebody's going to an 80s themed party, what do they, and it's a lady, what do they dress up as? The outfits from that music video. That's what they dress up as. So Olivia Newton-John, Let's Get Physical. The Office, Let's Get Ethical, even had a thing on it. It was so iconic. So I didn't want to put it in there, but I had to, because even to this day, that's the outfits that people still think of when they think of the 80s. Number 3, Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Ruston had that on his. Our mom had that on hers. How could you have a top 5 80s list without Don't Stop Believing? I don't know how you could. Number 2, Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. You cannot have an 80s song list. Like one of my favorite television shows ever was The Goldbergs, and it was all about a family who lived in the 80s, and it was absolutely hilarious. And there's one episode where Barry Goldberg is jamming out to what they called the anthem of the 1980s, Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. It was legendary. And number 1, I don't think, and I'm going to make a bold statement here. I don't even think this is debatable. Let me give you 1 year going back to the 1940s. 1942. Bing Crosby's White Christmas was released on Decca Records, DECCA, in 1942. That song, White Christmas by Bing Crosby, became the highest selling song of all time. And it stayed that way for over 40 years until Thriller overtook it in the 1980s. So how can you not put the one of the greatest selling songs of all time on the list? It has to be on there. And so my number one, Michael Jackson's Thriller, arguably one of the best music videos of all time as well. The jacket was iconic. I mean, it was the 1980s. And so got to go with Thriller number one. At that time, the greatest selling song in the history of music. Got to go with Thriller. All right. So let's see what, man, we've had a lot of people giving their top five. That's what I'm talking about. So Mississippi Vol said Dirty Laundry by Don Henley. Careless Whisper by Wham. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Sanjay, welcome. Glad you're with us. He asked about Trinidad Chambliss. Aguilar will find out potentially tomorrow if he can or not. Rhonda said, oh, this is a great one. This is a good one. Okay, she started with Thriller, rightfully so, in my opinion. Then she went Footloose. Footloose is a great one. That's a great one. That's, yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, I'm rethinking mine. No, still though, that's a really good one. Home Sweet Home, Thunderstruck. Thunderstruck's a great one. Pour Some Sugar on Me. That's a great one. All those are really good. David said Purple Rain. That's a great one. Higher Love. Bring me some higher love. That's a great one right there now. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, Faithfully. That is a really good one. Beat It. Another great. Sledgehammer. That's a iconic one. And I'm so glad you put Money for Nothing on there because I almost put Money for Nothing on mine. Solely for the intro. Forget the rest of the song. It's the intro that's so incredible. Dun, dun, that's the music video was iconic as well. Just the intro alone makes it worthy of being on here. Waniac said, showing our age for sure. Amen, brother. Richard with a strong list here. Number 5. Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. That's a great one. Number 4. This is I'm surprised it took us this long to hear Billie Jean. Billie Jean is iconic. That is the song that introduced the moonwalk to the world. That's a great one. Let's see. He's got a Kiss song on there, an Ozzy Osbourne song on there. Crazy Train. Yeah, I mean, Crazy Train, that's iconic. Hank Williams Jr., A Country Boy Can't Survive. That's iconic. That's a strong list. Tim said Foreigner Urgent. There you go. Separate Ways by Journey. Here's a good one. Power of Love. Anything by Huey Lewis and the News was that's a good stuff right there. So Power of Love, that's a great one. Call Me from Blondie and Midnight Blue by Lou Grant. Whoa, there you go. There you go. Nolan said Take On Me. Absolutely. Don't Stop Believing. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. There's a good one. And Eye of the Tiger. It's hard to not have Eye of the Tiger on the list. I agree with you. Jonathan said, I feel like I have to sit this one out since I wasn't born in the 80s. I could have used Chat GPT, but that feels like cheating. Let's see. Rhonda said, love Dirty Laundry. It was awesome skate music. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
I may have missed it, but has anybody said Africa yet?
Nobody. Not yet.
I would have thought that would have shown up. I almost had it in my top 5.
David said he put 6. My bad. No problem, dude. Nobody's counting. Matt said y'all are going to freak out on mine. Let's see. Waniac said Chicago was a great band. Absolutely it was. Fantastic band. Unbelievably good. It's one of my favorite ones of all time. When Ruston was in college in Bristol, Tennessee, Mom and I would drive up to see him play baseball. It was a 3-hour drive. We had the greatest hits of Chicago on a cassette tape. And it was perfect amount of time from the time we left Chattanooga till the time we got to Bristol. We could listen to that whole tape. Let's see. Yep, Mississippi Vol agreed with me on. Richard said he got to meet Chicago. That's awesome. That's really cool. Mississippi Vol said, "Let's Get Physical" was Billboard's #1 song for 1982. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, Matt got it. He said, "We Are the World" with USA to Africa 85 didn't make my list. Oh, he was talking about that promotional song they did that raised money and awareness. All right. Deborah said "Money for Nothing." Excellent choice. Oh, Deborah. Oh, she's got a good list. She's the first person to mention "Time of My Life." Wow. Okay. No, that's actually a really good one. That is iconic. Man, that's a good one. "I Want to Dance with Somebody," Whitney Houston. That's a great one. "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," Cyndi Lauper. "Billie Jean" from Michael Jackson. Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to argue with Billie Jean because, like I said, that's where the moonwalk came from. Rebel Jew said he'll add "Under Pressure" by Queen. Oh, man, there's so many Queen songs you could put on here. So many of them. Let's see. Tim said it's hard to pick just 5. There's so many. Absolutely. David said "Purple Rain" was literally a movie. That was so iconic. Fair enough. Whoa, Matt. There you go. Matt said "NWA" Straight Outta Compton. Number 4, Metallica. The first Metallica song on here, "Master of Puppets." Number 3, Madonna, "Like a Virgin." That was iconic. I'll give you that. I mean, that is an iconic one. I mean, okay, to my point, when I said people still dress like Olivia Newton-John when you go to 80s parties, and they still dress like her and "Let's Get Physical," the same is true for "Like a Virgin." People still, dress up like Madonna to go to 80s parties from that video. So that's a fair point. Motley Crue, "Too Fast for Love," and Michael Jackson, "Thriller," #1. There you go. It's hard to argue with Thriller. Waniac said anything from Prince is good. "Little Red Corvette" was my favorite Prince song. Let's see. Michigan Wolverines, welcome. Glad you're with us. He said, "Hey guys, my good friend Steven Castaneda is a huge Tennessee fan. He's suffering from high cholesterol disease, hoping to make out to a home opener when the season starts." I hope he does too, man. Appreciate you joining us. Deborah, she said honorable mention, "Every Breath You Take." That's a great one. It's a good choice. And "Wake Me Up Before You Go." Absolutely. That was an iconic one. Waniac said he agrees with the Thriller argument. It's hard to argue with that, right, man? Like, when it becomes the greatest selling song of all time, you're onto something there. Tony said April of 1980, "He Stopped Loving Her Today" by George Jones. I know I'm off. Hey, that's a great one. That's a great choice. That is a great choice. Jonathan said Ruston is lasered in on something.
So the women's downhill Super G is on the Olympics, and it's hard not to get caught up in it because they are going insanely fast, as evidenced by Breezy Johnson just flying into a wall. And they have this new thing they're doing where the drone flies behind the skier. And I wish they wouldn't switch to any other camera angle because you can literally see what the skier is seeing from the drone perspective. And it is the coolest thing ever. And they're going like 100 miles per hour.
Did you see what happened with the men's bobsled team from America?
Is that the one where they all fell out of the cart before it
Yes.
got going? Yeah.
Literally, the most basic part of that whole deal was like step one, you got to get in the sled. One of the four of them successfully made it in the sled, and one dude like went flying. He's like hit the side, bounced off. It was bananas. Kind of embarrassing for America, but and all the cool runnings memes that came out after that were pretty good.
Yeah.
Tim. So Tim told me Tammy was going to have her top five. Tammy's got a strong top five here, and she's got one on here that nobody's mentioned yet. And I'm honestly shocked that nobody's mentioned it yet. Mm-hmm. So she's got Sister Christian, Night Ranger. This is the one that I'm shocked nobody's mentioned yet, because this was a fantastic one. Jesse's Girl. Like, how have none of us mentioned that? That's a phenomenal song. That's a great one right there. And talk about iconic. That was iconic. The next one, I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner. That's a phenomenal song. How have we not said that one yet? Talking in Your Sleep. That's a great one. And Owner of a Lonely Heart. That's a good one too. But I think Jesse's Girl is the strongest one on this list of how has no one said this. That's a really good one. Let's see, Billy. I hope your cars are okay, man. I hope you're able to get them fixed. Rhonda said, "Don't forget about the year that all the artists came together and made this song. Do they know it's Christmas time at all? Absolutely, feed the world. Absolutely." Matt said Billie Jean is maybe his favorite Michael Jackson song. David said, a lot of us were born in the 70s and 80s with our list. That's exactly right. You're looking at two of them right here. Let's see. Mississippi all said, kind of surprised another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd hadn't been mentioned. Yeah, that's fair. Waniac said, all are great music I'm seeing. Absolutely, man. Oh, Matt. Yeah, buddy. He said, Twisted Sister, we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. That's absolutely. Rhonda said, I'm so old, I remember when all these videos debuted. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, more importantly, you actually remember there were videos. Like no music today comes out with a music video. Every one of these came out with a music video.
Matt liked your Africa one there. Waniac said, Bristol, huh? My neck of the woods for sure. That's cool. Tim said, the Tiger was awesome. I had that on my top 10 list. Tammy had Africa in her top 10. You can't go wrong with any song from the 80s. That's a fair assessment. Rhonda said, honestly, all my true top 5 would be either from wait, who?
Tesla, Dawkins, Winger, AC/DC.
I've never heard of Dawkins. That's interesting. You got me intrigued now, Rhonda. AC/DC. I'm surprised we haven't had an AC/DC song on here yet.
We did. Thunderstruck was on.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Herb, welcome, buddy. He said Jesse's Girl, Sweet Child of Mine. Dadgummit, that's a good one too. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. That's iconic. Out of Touch and In the Air Tonight. Man, I can feel it calling in the air tonight. That's a good one too. Jesse's Girl and Sweet Child of Mine. Those are two really strong ones. That's two really strong. Thank you, Tim. All right. So now, all right. Tim and Rhonda both mentioned maybe the best female artist not the best, but one of the best female artists, Pat Benatar. So my wife, when I was asking her what her top 580 songs were, immediately she thought of Total Eclipse of the Heart, because arguably the greatest line in a song from all of the 1980s was in Total Eclipse of the Heart. Once upon a time I was falling in love. Now I'm only falling apart. Man, That's a good line. Nothing I can say. Total eclipse of the heart. You know, once upon a time I was falling in love. Now I'm only falling apart. That's strong right there, buddy. That's strong. Travel the Smokies. Welcome. Glad you're with us. They said Chicago at Stokely in '85 was one of my favorite concerts I got to see there. Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. Very cool. Matt said REM should be in here somewhere also, and the Police as well. I'm actually surprised we haven't had a Police song on here yet. Tim said Take On Me or Sun Always Shines on TV. Take On Me, that's an iconic one. That's iconic. Rebel Jew, you just nailed it, dude. How in the world did we not think of Welcome to the Jungle?
I almost put it in mine. I had it. It would have been, if we had done 10, I would have had it on there.
That is a really good one. Really good. Very, very good one. Rebel Jew was really digging some 80s rock and hair bands. That's what I'm talking about. But Welcome to the Jungle, that's iconic. That's really good. Rhonda said Lean on Me was huge in '88. That's true. Very true. Let's see. Deborah said Losing My Religion by REM. Mississippi Vol said The Best of Times by Styx. Matt said I've got more than 100 songs that are total hits. That's what I'm talking about. Tim said he saw Police in Stokely. That's cool. I bet that was really good. Matt said MTV was social media back in the day. Everyone was addicted. That's fair. That's a fair assessment right there. That's okay. Tim made a good point. He said, I can't believe Duran Duran or Hungry Like the Wolf hasn't been mentioned.
I intentionally didn't mention that.
I'm shocked we haven't had a Never Gonna Give You Up mentioned yet. That's what I'm shocked by. Lately, that's been one of the most famous 80s songs. Okay, Jeff with the comment of the night. This is the best. He said, nobody's mentioned Milli Vanilli yet. That's the best of the night right there. That's nice. Mississippi Vol said, to me, the year 1980 had the best music of the whole decade. Oh, Travels. Toto was phenomenal, by the way. Toto was so good. And he said, Rosanna, Rosanna. That's the wrong key, but you get the point. Let's see. Toto was phenomenal. They're really good. Yeah, Tim's telling me what Doc can say. I'd literally never heard. See, I've learned something tonight. I've literally never heard of them. Billy said the Carpenters had some good ones. Yeah, they sure did. For sure. Oh, Mississippi Vol, Love is a Battlefield. Fantastic song. Absolutely.
So this is totally unrelated, but Tennessee baseball just posted a picture. Every year their alums gift the team with cleats that they designed for the team. They have high top Air Jordan basketball cleats with checkerboards on them.
I saw that earlier. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Always olive license. Yeah. Or I think he meant license ill. There you go. Beastie Boys were huge. That's totally a good one. Oh, shoot. Yeah. David said, I love rock and roll. That's a great one. Absolutely. Waniac. This was on my list. I almost had it on there. He said, where is Poison's Every Rose Has Its Dawn? Yep, absolutely. Richard said, good night, guys. Got to get up early in the morning. Hey, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Rebel Jew said Joan Jett, Bad Reputation. Matt said, my 3 older sisters and I have a group text. We've been going off since the 80s. Since Sunday. He said, it's been so much fun. Thanks for the idea of it. I appreciate that. That's good. Tom Petty for sure. Let's see. Oh, there's a nice one right there. There's a nice one. Oh, November Rain. That's a yep. There you go. That's iconic. Rebel Jew. That's iconic. That's a really good one. Richard, we appreciate you, buddy. So those were some strong ones right there. That was fun. That was a good one. Vols Titans 8 stepped in to talk about baseball for a second. He said, slide step more and quicker delivery. Let's hope for that. And that's exactly right. I think we'll see that more this year. A couple other comments that came through. Travel the Smoky said, Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell. Absolutely. Chief of Wolverine said, shout out to my friend Armando. He played catcher and receiver for the Vols back in the day. Dual threat athlete. That's cool. Rhonda said Ozzy Osbourne. Billy said all these good songs makes me listen to them. Absolutely. There's so many. No doubt, man. The 80s were awesome in music. Waniac said one last one, Cinderella. Don't know what you got till it's gone. There you go. That's a good one. Really strong list right there from everybody. Really strong. That was a fun one. I like that one. That was a good one. Because there's so many. Like, how do you narrow it down? I mean, people were throwing out some that I was like, oh man, like Sweet Child of Mine. I didn't have that on my list. How could you not? But there's so many others that you got to put on there, you know. There's so many. Jesse's Girl was a great one. So here's what we're going to do next week. I'm going to throw everybody a little curveball here. We're going to do a little bit more of a more serious one. Deborah said, I'm sold. I could do best of the songs of the 70s. Hey, I'd be all about that too. I love me some 70s rock was phenomenal. It was really good. So I'm going to throw everybody a curveball though, because next week I'm going to give you what I think is the hardest list yet. Ruston, this will be the first time he's heard it as well.
Shocker.
That's true. Next week, we're going to do top 5 athletes in Tennessee athletics history. Now, we're not talking about just football. We're not talking about just baseball. We're not even talking about, and I'm going to give you a little hint here, just track and field. We're talking about the entire athletic department, the whole thing. Greatest athletes in Tennessee athletics history. That is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, you're just trying to start problems.
That is going to be incredibly difficult. Rhonda said, Evan, we'll be there all night on that one. Matt said, Sports Talk Jay is the greatest athlete in Tennessee history. Yes, everything, not just one individual sport, the whole athletic department. Eventually down the road, we'll get into like specific sports too. Matt said Peyton, and I agree. I think he'll be on my list as well. But I know this sounds heretical, but I could see where someone could have a list that does not include Peyton. Because the thing is, greatest athlete. Was Peyton one of the greatest athletes? Now he's going to be on mine because I don't know how you can't not have him on there. But I mean, think about all the people you could. Carl Pickens, Allen Houston. I'm not even going to mention some of the others that I think, like I haven't even said who I think should be number 1 yet. And I'll give you one clue. I don't think the number 1 person was a football player. So it's going to be a tough one. I'm telling you, it's going to be a real tough one. Some of the other ones, comments that came through when we were talking about the 70s one, Waniac said, being old sucks sometimes, but it's fun at other times. There you go. Tim said, it's impossible to pick 5. Scorpions rock you like a hurricane, or Scorpions rock you like a hurricane. Wasn't mentioned. That's a great one. That's a very iconic. Rock you like a hurricane. Let's see some of the other comments. When you said shocker, Deborah got a kick out of that. She laughed at that one. Let's see. Jonathan said, you mean you didn't consult Ruston on what we talk about before the show starts? I would have never have thought that. Ooh, Deborah coming out strong. She said Todd Helton. That's a strong candidate right there. Rhonda said Peerless Price. I think that's a strong candidate. Tim said Conridge Holloway. Waniac said Todd Helton. Matt said Peerless. Travel Smokey said it begins with Conridge Holloway. I don't know, man. There's some other good ones that nobody's mentioned yet. Y'all got to think about the whole athletic department. The whole athletic department. There's one person in particular that I think you could debate pretty much everybody and pretty much. And remember, we're not talking about just men as well. We're talking about the women as well. But there is one person that I don't think anybody can debate it, and nobody's mentioned him yet. But there is one person that definitively has to be on the list. Jeff said, great show again, as usual, guys. Thank you. Let's all remember to pray for each other, our families, and our country. Love y'all. Appreciate that, man. Love you too. I totally agree with you. Absolutely. Rhonda said, you like giving us homework. It's a fun one. This is a tough one, and it's fun to think about. Tim said Candace Parker. That's a great choice. Waniac said Christian Coleman or Candace Parker. That's 2 excellent ones right there. Rebel Juice said Reggie White. That's a phenomenal one.
For next Thursday.
That's right. For next Thursday. So that's everybody be thinking about it. Get your top 5 together. We're going to rank them next Thursday. Deborah asked, did you and Rustin go to UT? We did not. We were born and raised in East Tennessee, but we did not. Rustin played baseball elsewhere in East Tennessee. But we did not. Travel Smuggy said Willie Galt has to be on the list. Waniac said the minister. That's Reggie White was elite. Rebel Juice said Eric Berry. That's a great choice. See, it's going to be so fun to debate. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Well, I hope everybody has a great, great weekend. There's a ton of Tennessee athletics to watch this weekend, no doubt about it. Deborah went to ETSU. That's the home of Powell's right there in Johnson City. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. We hope everyone has a phenomenal weekend ahead of you. We hope you join us Sunday night. We'll be live again on Sunday night trying to recap just a huge weekend. And just so you know, when we're live on Sunday night, the Lady Vols will be playing Florida State on TV. So that'll be an opportunity for us to kind of be watching that together as we talk on here. But they will be playing because they don't start till 8:00 Sunday night. So let's see. Mississippi Vols said I've already thought of my 5, but I feel kind of guilty leaving somebody out. It's difficult to narrow it down. I agree. John said, great show as always. I'll see everybody Sunday night. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Hope we're talking about a bunch of wins. Amen, brother. Amen. Dester, appreciate you, buddy. He said, great show. Enjoy listening on the way home. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jeff said, remember little J.J. McCleskey played both sides of the ball. Rhonda said, great show. Have a great weekend, everyone. Billy said, has Pat Summitt ever been an athlete? Yeah, I mean, she was an athlete.
Not at Tennessee.
Right. Travel Smuggy said, first time I got to make a live show. Enjoy it. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you. We're glad you were with us as well. Matt said, Chat State and UTC for me. Go Vols, baby. I'm a fellow Mock. That's what I'm talking about. Deborah said no comments on Lady Vols win over Missouri. We did at the very, very beginning. That was the first thing we did right at the beginning. Great win, great bounce back win. Missouri's really bad. That was my take on it. Ruston had a little bit more to say. Waniac said go Vols. Rebel G said, have y'all ever thought about doing a meet and greet at the game? Well, we'd love to. The problem is just arranging time to get there. We both got kids that are extremely active and doing stuff all the time. So it's hard to get to the games when you got so many. Our schedule is wild. Hey, not a sponsor, but you could be. Skylight calendar. My wife, she was like, we needed one of those. So we got it. Dude, that's been incredible. I'd recommend it to anybody. We've got I think it's 11 different schedules and calendars on that thing. It's wonderful. Deborah asked, any thoughts on the replacement for Coach Hunter, who is on his way to the NFL now?
I think it's interesting that they've kept it very quiet. That tells me that they're being very deliberate behind the scenes and turning over a lot of rocks to make sure that there's not possibly an under the radar hire available. I think it speaks volumes to the staff that Jim Knowles was assembling that the Rams would come and hire him away. The easy hire would be Derek Jones. He was at Virginia Tech. He coached under Coach Knowles when he was at Duke with David Cutcliffe, and James Franklin did not retain him, so technically he's available. I think that's the easy hire. I don't think Jim Knowles is extremely thoughtful. I don't think he does the easy hire. I think the easy hire is the fallback. And right now he's actively talking to people, seeing if there's anybody who might be open to a move who maybe isn't necessarily on the market.
Because it is a tough time of year to be doing this as well. Matt said, thank you, Ruston, once again for the baseball team breakdown. Totally agree. He said he's been waiting on that one. Absolutely. That was very good. I'm going to post that. By the way, I'm going to post that clip tomorrow as its own thing, as a baseball preview. I hope everybody has a great, great evening. Go Vols, baby. And we will see all of you very, very soon.